let's talk. Welcome back to I'm With You. I'm so glad you're here again. If this is your first time listening, or your 15th, I just want to say thank you for coming back to this space. This podcast is built for moments like this, when we need to reflect, process, and try to understand ourselves through stories, honesty, and quiet lessons. Today's episode is personal, and I want to ease us into it gently. So let me start with a simple image. Imagine a table, a dinner table, not extravagant, not fancy, just simple, familiar, yours. Now imagine your family sitting around it, all the people who raised you, your parents, your siblings, maybe even grandparents if they were around. You're there too, but you're quiet, and so are they. There's food on the table, plates are full, but hearts, not always. Because the truth is, many of us grew up in homes where love was shown but rarely spoken, where needs were met but feelings weren't named, where there was food, shelter, safety, but no real space for vulnerability. We were raised around tables where everything happened, except for the conversations that could have changed everything. That's what we're talking about today. The table we never sat at. The emotional one. The one where someone asked, "How are you feeling today?" Or, "What do you need that you're not getting?" Or, "When you're scared, do you feel safe with me?" Yeah, that table. This episode isn't about blaming our parents. It's about naming the quiet absence that followed us into adulthood. It's about understanding why so many of us struggle to communicate now, why we shut down when things get hard, why we struggle to say, "I need help," why we're uncomfortable with compliments, why we over-apologize or avoid confrontation or expect others to read our minds. Because if no one sat with us when we were young, if no one mirrored emotional safety and expression, we had to grow up guessing what love was supposed to feel like. Let me share a moment with you. When I was a child, my family ate dinner together every night. We said, "Pass the fish sauce," or "Don't spill the soup," or "Eat more rice." But we didn't say, "You look like something's weighing on you. Want to talk?" We didn't say, "I'm proud of how you handled your day." We didn't say, "What made you feel small today, and how can I help?" And it's not that there was no love in the room. There was, but it was buried under expectation, under unspoken roles, under cultural survival, under "we don't have time for emotions because there's too much to get done." Sound familiar? I didn't realize how much I missed those conversations until I tried to create them in my own home. At first, I didn't even know what to ask my wife. I didn't know how to talk to my kids about emotions. I thought being strong meant keeping feelings private until I saw their confused faces and realized they were waiting for someone to model emotional safety. And that someone had to be me. Let's pause here, because maybe right now you're thinking about your own table and how empty it was, not physically, but emotionally. Maybe your parents worked hard, provided everything, but never said, "I'm sorry," or "I see you," or "You matter." Maybe you became the overachiever, trying to earn love, or the quiet one, afraid of doing something wrong, or the caretaker, managing everyone else's peace but never your own. And now, you're an adult who wants connection, but struggles to feel safe in it. Here's the first lesson I want to offer today. You didn't miss those conversations because you were too sensitive. You missed them because you were human. Every child, no matter how strong, needs affirmation, needs attention, needs a language for their inner world. And if we didn't get it then, we seek it now, sometimes in clumsy, unhealthy, or disconnected ways. So what do we do about it? Let's transition into part 2 of this episode. What happens when we grow up without that emotional table, and how we begin building one now? Let's start with relationships. When we grow up in emotionally distant homes, we enter relationships with this deep desire to be understood, but no roadmap for how to make that happen. We expect our partner to just know how to love us. We feel unloved when they don't communicate like we do. We assume silence means rejection. We mistake distance for punishment. And often, we don't bring it up. Because deep down, we've been trained to believe that talking about how we feel is either too much or useless. So we stay quiet. But inside, we're starving for connection. Here's a real example. A listener once wrote to me and said, "My husband is kind. He provides. He's good to our kids. But I feel like I don't exist to him emotionally. He never asks how I am, never says what's on his mind. It's like we live side by side, but never truly meet. I wrote her back with one sentence. He might be sitting at the same table you were raised at. Here's what I mean by that. Many men, myself included, were raised in homes where emotions weren't discussed, where being a man meant being quiet, tough, self-contained. So now we carry that silence into our marriages. Not out of cruelty, not because we don't care, but because we're following the emotional blueprints we were handed as children. But here's the good news. We can build a new table. And here's how we start. Step 1, name what was missing. Not in anger, not in blame, but in truth. Say it out loud. I didn't grow up hearing I'm proud of you. I never saw conflict resolved in a healthy way. I wasn't taught how to express pain safely. Because once you name it, you stop carrying shame around it. Step 2, learn the language of connection. This might sound simple, but it's revolutionary. Ask questions like, how was your heart today? What's something you've been carrying silently? How can I support you better this week? Practice it, even if it feels awkward, because awkward is what growth feels like when we're doing something we've never seen modeled. Step 3, let others in, especially your children. If you're raising kids right now, I want you to know something powerful. You get to give them the table you never had. You get to say things you never heard. You get to ask questions no one ever asked you. You get to create a home where emotions aren't feared, but welcomed. That doesn't mean being perfect. It means being present. It means saying, I'm still learning how to talk about this, but I want to try. And your kids, they won't remember perfect, but they'll remember your willingness. Let's bring this home with a closing reflection. I think about that imaginary table a lot, the one I never sat at as a child, the one where someone would have said, you're not in trouble, I just want to know how you feel. I wish I had that. But more than that, I'm grateful to be building it now, with my wife, with my children, with the people I love. And yes, sometimes the conversations are clumsy. Sometimes I say too little. Sometimes I say too much. But I sit at that table anyway, because I believe healing starts when we stop waiting for someone to create safety for us and start creating it for others. So here's my invitation to you. Think of one conversation you wish you had growing up, then offer it to someone else this week, to your partner, your friend, your child, yourself, because the table we never sat at can still be built, one honest moment at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting at this table with me. And if something today touched you, please share it. Start a conversation, pass the invitation along. And as always, I'm with you.